Hey, Dustin here, and I'm joined by Mr.
Raymond Wood.
Okay, you got it. I'm sorry. Apologize.
Sorry.
Yeah. So what's up, man? Tell me about what's going on, what we got going on. We got a big 2018.
Yep, got a lot of stuff in store. But right now, our movie Canada is out and available. It's on the iTunes and Amazon right now. So pretty much anybody can go check it out.
And soon to be Google Play.
Yeah.
Yep, Google Play.
Yeah, so definitely it's going to be available for everyone now. First it was just on iTunes, and now it's basically every TV in the world has access to Amazon. So if you have Amazon, you can watch this movie at this point.
If you don't have Amazon, I don't really know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you either.
You're doing something wrong, probably. Yep. So tell me a little bit about like what your feelings are on the Canada coming out. Like this is like, from what I understand, this is your first feature film.
Yeah, the first one that's ever been released. Yeah,
okay,
pretty much. And it's a good thing to hang our hat on too, because I mean, we shot this film actually 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or wasn't it? Yeah, it was like
it's been 2 years ago.
Almost 2 years. And so it's crazy, like how long that process takes, and then how much better we know we've gotten since then. But you still have to like understand. Like I don't know, what am I trying to say?
I think you have to understand that you get so much better. So when you go see your final product, you still love it. Like I'm like so passionate about the Canada, but I also know that like if we were to reshoot the Canada, it'd be even better now.
And that's always the case. Like somebody said, some director said, you don't ever really have the best view of what works and what doesn't work until you've already done it.
Huh.
And so that's kind of the thing, and that's why like we go and do reshoots on certain things, because we like until you see it all together. You don't know, but we all can't be Woody Allen. We all can't shoot for 6 weeks, go edit for 6 weeks, and come back and shoot again for another 6 weeks. And redo everything different. Like, we don't have free reign to do whatever. We have to be smart about it. But I think that also by making you be smart about it, that makes you learn things quicker and makes you get more precise that first go around. Because I feel like everything we've done since then is just continues to improve and improve and improve,
Oh, it's gotten so much better, man. But and that's not to say that anything was bad on the first one. It's
right,
just
exactly.
Like we're going on. This will be so next year, 2018. We're going to be going on film 3 and 4. From Darkwood Pictures, and what we're trying to do is we're going to start bringing in outside investors. So if you're listening to this and you have interest in a movie. That's something to do. That's something to look at and kind of ask us questions about, because we'll be doing, a couple new films next year, and we'll be looking for some outside funding.
And it's not millions of dollars either. Like I think a lot of people think of movies in the traditional Hollywood sense, where it's like $40 to $150 million to produce a movie. But I mean, simply just not the case. Especially like what we've been talking about is the Blumhouse model, right?
Right.
The Blumhouse model is. We produce a film for $5 million using our formula, and we know we can be profitable. No matter what it is, if we follow this formula and only spend $5 million, we know it can be profitable.
Correct.
So like we've been talking about is you can take that to another extreme and say, well, we have a formula too. And if we can do it within an even smaller range, we know we can make it profitable.
I feel like we have the Einstein formula, to be honest with you.
Like I think we're hitting on it now. We're like so much closer to it each time around. I think we've got it figured out now.
I think so too. And it's like you can bring out, because the key is you can bring out so much great film to the watcher, the viewer, but you can make more of it now. It's not just going to be like this, like we talked about before in the last podcast, the Disney script or the rehash script that has already been seen or told 100 times.
Yeah. And how hard is it to get $50 million for something, If you have a great story, but it takes like millions and millions of dollars to make it, well, then it's a good chance you're never going to get to tell that story.
Right.
But if there's a filmmaker who has a great idea that just needs like $100,000 to get it done, we're in a day and age now where that's possible.
Yeah.
Whereas even 10 years ago, it's definitely not 20, 30 years ago was that possible. But now it is, because now you're like, even Netflix, which has high standards for the video that they are going to accept as original content, you can still get that quality for not that expensive now. You know, where you don't have to get this big film camera anymore. Like you can shoot on a Canon C300, you know,
right,
and make a film that's in 4K and meets all their specs.
Yeah, that's
you know, and it just comes down to really paying attention to being really good at your craft. You know, like
which you are. You're always so damn detailed, man.
Well,
and
it comes from trying to find ways to make it look way more expensive than it is. It's what we call production value in the film industry. Production value is where you like, you know, when you watch a movie that was expensive and then you watch an independent film, you can tell the difference. And that's because your brain is measuring the production value of the film. You know, the way that it's shot, the way that it's edited, the way the music and the sound all works together perfectly, it looks like it was really expensive. You know, you see some like independent films that were kind of just scrapped and thrown together.
Look like iPhone footage kind of.
iPhone footage type stuff, like sound kind of like is wonky all throughout. Yeah. There's no production value. So that's kind of what that is. So what I've like really focused on specializing in my whole entire career is taking a little bit and making it look like we had a lot.
You have. I mean, like, sorry to talk over you, but with the Canadu, like if you take certain shots of that and you put it up against a $20 million film, you will not be able to tell the difference.
100%. And that was the idea, you know? That's Canadu is a prime example of that. I think so much of that film visually looks like we spent millions of dollars on it. Sure. You know? Just because of the quality and the caliber of the image and the way things are cut together, you know?
Right.
And so that's kind of where we get into this model of really, you can make a quality film for not what you used to have to make a quality film for.
So what was the biggest difference? The cameras? Is that what the big?
I wouldn't go that far, honestly, because it's really more about the craftsmanship behind the camera.
Okay.
And Randall's another person very much like me who's very, you know, very honed in on making images look really, really good without a whole lot of lights and without a whole lot of, you know, other equipment that you might see on a big film.
He makes stuff look good, like without even anything done to it.
Yeah,
like, you can look at it just straight
out of camera. That's always our joke. We want to get, you know, straight out of Compton. We want to get shirts that say straight out of camera, because literally you don't like, you can pull the image out of the camera and it already looks like ready to show on a screen. You know?
Yeah, it always does. It looks
crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah,
it looks amazing.
And being able to and just coming from a world where we were making short films and we were doing stuff like just on our own without any money. You know, just finding ways to scrap together and like get favors from people and like borrow lights and cameras from people and finding ways to make things look really good. Like Cells, the short film that we watched yesterday.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Like we had like 2 lights.
But it looked good.
Yeah, it's like
looked good.
And I had all these references from films like Panic Room and other things. And like they did that and they had a shit ton of lights and they could do all this stuff. But we want this look, but this is all we have.
We'll put a preview of Cells up on Insane Labz so people can see it, because I think that is it's beautifully done. I mean, it's just got a good message to it.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So
and that's something that you know, talking about learning experiences. We made a short film. It didn't do well in festivals, so I adapted. I said I watched a bunch of festivals. I watched the films they showed. They all had this sort of like social justice message, the ones that did really well. So I was like, well, let me tailor towards that. You know, it's all about adaptability in that sense too.
You did yours really. I mean, it was just a smart way you did it. You know, and you actually tapped into the pharmaceutical drug industry, which is true. Genius, man.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, definitely, and just corruption in general.
But
I don't want to give too much away for people who haven't seen it. But
no, it was great. It was great, man. I watched it just yesterday. As the first time I've seen it, and I was like, holy shit, I was blown away.
Yeah. And we made that before Canadu. Like we shot that film before Canadu. We got wrapped up in these features, and I had to like kind of shelf it for a while.
When did you start shooting that?
Early 2015.
Holy shit! So it's been over 2 years for something that's what, 12 minutes long?
Yeah, exactly.
So that goes to show you guys, man. Whenever you go to do a business or something and you quit within a month,
dude,
that's insanity. You don't even give yourself a chance.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta understand, like, I mean, you gotta put in a lot of work and not expect immediate results.
Right.
You know, people who do that to me are just insane, especially with movies. I mean, like, especially with something like the Canada, like we knew, like, all right, we're going to hunker down and we can't afford to hire a big shot editor. We're going to do all this shit ourselves. And so we just fucking...
Dude, we were peeing in the woods. We were doing whatever.
No, seriously. Yeah, we're fucking pulling our bootstraps up and like, we're going to do this shit. Let's go.
Pull your bootstraps up, man. Pull your bootstraps up. That's good. So, like, how do you feel about 2018, man? I know we got some great stuff coming out.
Dude,
I've heard some rumors about a movie you have coming out, but we'll just kind of go past that.
Yeah, there's some things coming down the pike that we've been working on now, and then there's also some stuff we're talking about moving forward with. I've told you and probably a bunch of people, like, we shot a movie in 2015, we shot a movie in 2016. This year we haven't shot anything yet, and I'm getting real fucking antsy. You know, I'm like, I don't want to lose the momentum, and I know we're not because we're constantly doing shit. But like, just for me, I'm like, I want to keep making movies. I want to keep creating. So it's cool that we're, So we're
gonna make up for it in 2018.
We're gonna make up for it in 2018. Exactly.
We didn't shoot anything this year, really, I guess, but next year we're gonna shoot 2 movies.
That's the goal,
and it's gonna be on Darkwood Pictures. And once again, if you guys are looking to get involved in film, hit me up at producer@insanefilms.com, or what's our email at Darkwood right now?
I actually don't know.
I think it's info@darkwoodpictures.com. But just you can email me at producer@insanefilms.com, which is like a small marketing company type thing.
Yeah.
So other than like films, dude, what's going on outside of Darkwood Pictures, like with like A Shot and all the other stuff you got going on?
We've got some other stuff going on. We got a rental company that we're renting out cameras. So yeah, if you're a filmmaker and you need cameras and lighting equipment and stuff, we've got that kind of thing in the Atlanta area. We're working kind of secretly, but we're working on a way to sort of expand that to other markets and things like that. And we'll see how that goes. And then, just doing more commercial work and stuff. Like me, I've been pursuing bigger commercials, bigger music videos, things like that. Not because that's what I ultimately want to do, but that gives me more experience and more practice on set and behind the camera. And the best thing about that is a lot of times that's not on our dime, it's on the artist's dime, or it's on the commercial company's dime. So it's given me ability to get out there and play with the tools sort of on a higher scale than just a short film that we throw together. But it's still, for me, it's always been working toward becoming a better film director. So it's just finding ways to do that. Like, to me, that's all that matters. I know it sounds crazy, but like, I don't have hobbies, I don't like travel or go out. Like, I just want to make films. And so everything that I do 18 hours a day is about becoming better equipped to do that,
But you can tell in what you've done though, since 2015, look at how far you came from 2015 to today.
I know. And it's so much quicker than I ever, like, it's still a long process, but to be honest, like, I never thought I'd get an opportunity before I was 30 to direct a film, and I have now at this point. Not to say how old I am, but
let's say how old you are.
But at this point, I did a film before I was 30. So
it's amazing, dude.
Yeah,
most people can't say that.
No, it's true, and I never thought it. Like, all the directors that I know that, or like people that are even famous, didn't really get their starts until they were like late 30s, early 40s.
Really? I didn't even really think about that. So like, if you're in your early, like mid 30s, like you're way ahead of the game if you're a director.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So people who think they're falling behind is just crazy. Like, dude, you're 40 is young in the film industry. Like, Sidney Lumet was like, he passed away when he was like 90 something. He was still making films.
He probably lived so long because he loves it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I've always thought, it's like, you're legitimately doing something you love for a living. Then of course you're just gonna you're gonna keep on trucking until.
Well, dude, I'm 36, man, and I feel like honestly younger now because I'm doing more of the things that I want to do. Yeah. Opposed to like things that I'm kind of stuck doing. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Exactly.
Not that I'm stuck doing. It's just it pays the bills. So.
Yeah, and we all have that. Yeah. But it's like, what I've been able to do, which is smart, is I have a commercial corporate production company. So even the paying the bills stuff is still within the realm of what I want to do. We're still working with cameras. We're still putting together video content. So it's all serving the greater purpose for me. Yeah, and
it's practice still.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the stuff you take from some of those small commercials, like we may have you do a music video for Ozzy.
It'd be fantastic. That's great.
Yeah, and that would be perfect
because then that's putting that's making something creative, and that's only going to make me better the more I do it.
What do you think? I actually wanted to ask you this. What do you think? Do you think creativity, do you think you're born with that, or do you think it's something that you develop over time?
I think that it's both. Okay. I think that there are people who are definitely 100% born with it. And then I think that it's also something that you can sort of work really hard and achieve. And for me, I'm honestly not sure which one it is, to be honest, because I can't draw. Like, there's a part of me that I just think, like, both of my parents are accountants. Okay. You know, like, I think I'm kind of inherently left-brained and very, like, analytical with things. Okay. But I've always wanted to be a very creative person, so I've always, like, forced myself to develop that side. Whereas I may have not have been born with it, but I've just worked so much in that space that I've kind of developed a sense of creativity.
Well, and I think, too, like you said, you can't draw. I don't necessarily speak of that as like creativity. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, it's art, but so is, you know, like I said yesterday, movies, you know, music. It's all art, you know. I mean, designing a bottle, like, I can't draw that stuff, but my mind can.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I consider you a very creative person. I mean, you're writing scripts, bro. Like,
well, that's true. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that is true. And like, I just, to me, it feels like it's something that I had to work to be good at. I think that there are people who, like, legitimately come out of the womb being able to like be more abstract and just come up with crazy shit.
I know the people. I know what you're talking about, and I think it's like.
But for them, I think it's also important to develop the other side so that they're not just maniacs. You know.
Yeah, most of those people, it's kind of like the openness trait. You know, I'm sure you've heard about, like, it's the openness trait, but then it's most of those people end up poor, and I've talked about on this podcast. They end up poor because they never monetize what they're doing. Exactly. It's the hardest thing to do is monetize creativity.
And that's where I think that we're kind of a rare breed in a sense that we are, and we're surrounded with people who sort of have at least a grasp on both sides of it.
Correct.
Yeah. Because I run a business, but I'm also a creative filmmaker. Like, right. So I understand both sides of it. Whereas I think that most people really only can get a hold of one or the other.
And that's where the long days come in, man. Like, you see, so if you have that business mindset and you have that creative side, you're always thinking, like when you say you're always thinking of new things and things like that. But then you have to spend time on the business side to make sure that you're funding all this stuff, you know? So that's a good point there, man. Like, it's hard to do, but that's why someone like you will, like you were telling me a story yesterday where you worked 18-hour days on something. And I believe it. I've seen you do it. You know, I've seen you work 3 days straight. So
yeah, exactly. You know? With that, like, literally straight.
literally straight. Like, you worked 3 days straight. Like, I've seen you do it. And by 3 days straight, I mean day, night. Yeah. You know, that kind of crazy stuff.
Yep. And it's like the thing that I always say, it's filmmaking is fun and creative, but it's show business. Like, it is business. Yes. And what good are you doing anybody if you're not making something that's profitable? You know? And it's real easy for like a creative person to balk at that, and well, you know, you don't want to stifle creativity. But look, there's a way to. The people who are successful get both sides of it. You know, the directors who are making films and they're continuing to make films, they're doing that because they're exercising the creative side and they're making unique, distinct stuff, but they're also doing it in a way that's marketable and profitable.
100%.
You have to have both.
And what I've noticed too on creativity, it's a lot of times you'll do something, right? So like you'll come out with something and nobody really gets it at first.
Right.
So it'll take a while. So that's where that monetary, you know, that funding comes into play, man, because you might have to wait 2 years, like we said, for people to go, oh yeah, that is good.
For it to find its audience.
Yeah, that is good. I didn't really think about it in this way. You know, it's so abstract that my brain didn't make sense of it at the time. But now it's like, oh shit, that's brilliant. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that happens. I've seen it happen with multiple people.
Totally. And it's all about, to me, it's all about getting it out there to the people, you know? Like, it's so hard when you're beginning. And this is why we were talking yesterday, how, like, I'm finally starting to figure out this social media thing, like, slowly but surely. I've always been that, like, old soul who's like, oh, these fucking kids on their phones all the time, blah, blah, blah. But I'm, like, breaking that mold and, like, realizing, like, no, like, this is the future. This is the way people are communicating, consuming content, doing all this stuff. And so I'm trying to use that as leverage to sort of build that audience so that work can get in front of those people. You know?
And you need to, man. You're just an interesting character. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying that people, there's always something about helping other people in your field as much as you can. Yeah. Like, I believe in that. Like, hey, I'm going to give you some knowledge. Whether you use it or not is up to you. But I think it's cool that you make videos about, hey, this is what we did on this film. This is how we did it. Like, you're showing, like, tricks that you had to sit there and learn and spend 18-hour days and nights learning yourself that you're giving away for free.
Yeah, and you know what the thing is though, 99% of people are not going to take that advice, you know.
Exactly.
And not that it's advice, because I've always I have two rules that I've lived my life by. I don't take advice from someone I wouldn't trade places with, and I don't give advice unless it's asked of me, you know. Okay. And they're kind of this hand in hand thing where like I'm not just going to go up to somebody and tell them how to do anything unless they ask me, because then they genuinely are going to value my opinion if they ask me. If not, then they're not going to listen to me, and I'm wasting both of our time. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
So then when it comes to that kind of stuff, yeah, like I'm genuinely putting this stuff out there just to say like, this is what we did, this is what worked for us, this is what didn't work for us, because I really do want to help people.
Sure.
You know, and at the same time, it ends up being marketing too, because we're talking about the project that we did. So that's kind of this little thing that I've stumbled into, which I hate talking about myself. I've always have like something about it is just this thing in my head. I know it's silly, but because marketing is such a big thing, but it's always been so hard for me to like talk about my own work and talk about myself. But now I've found this thing where I can do that within putting information out there that could help other people.
I love it, man. I love it.
So I'm killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I like it. And that's kind of been a thing for me too. It's like I never wanted to be on camera. I never wanted to do that kind of stuff, but I tried to get people on camera. And it just ended up just so happened to be that it was me getting on camera or me doing a podcast. Yeah. And it's like something where you're not like self-boosting yourself. It's just like you're getting some information out there that can actually help people. Exactly. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, because for like, so our commercial production company, we have this series that we put out called Behind the Build.
Okay.
If you go to Facebook, look up RCR video, and it's all, but I shy away from that as much because I wasn't sure yet. Like I've never been sure like what I want to be, like the image of me out there. Does that make sense?
I think at first you feel like you have to be a character, and I don't think you have to be. I think you're just yourself, and it's just like you're enough of a character.
Sure,
itself.
Exactly.
Like everybody's a character.
Yeah.
If you're your own character, so like, what? Just be you.
Just be you. Exactly.
Like I'll do some goofy shit, man. Like I don't care. I don't care. But at the same time, I find out that some people will be like, "Oh, you're so stupid" or whatever. But then sometimes, for the most part, people are like, "I can kind of, I'm like that too."
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that's something that my brain is finally starting to wrap around, sort of in a way.
I like watching your Instagram.
Yeah,
your like little stories and stuff. Yeah. Like, and I know you. Like, so like think about other people that don't even know you. I'm just like, I'm interested. I'm like, oh, dude, he's in Breckenridge. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see,
that's cool.
That's the thing, and that it too. Like, it's not an arrogance thing. Like to me, it's just proving to people that I'm constantly out here working. Like look, like I'm out here at this film festival. I'm doing this. I'm here in Atlanta. I'm working on this commercial. I'm doing this, and so. Just people who may just not have the right idea about what it is that we do, it kind of just helps get that image out there of like, like when I say like I'm working like 16 to 18 hours a day, I'm actually working 16 to 18 hours a day, like
I'll vouch for you, man. I've seen it. I've seen you. I've literally seen you, man. Like let's say you get up at 6 a.m., right? We're up at 6 a.m. You're looking at your notes. You're going over your day and you're just like almost so freaking focused. Like it's hard to even talk to you. Like I'll be like, "Hey, it's lunchtime." Totally. Oh, it's lunchtime. Okay. And then you go eat. And you're not even really even eating that much. You're just kind of like going over stuff. You can see your mind, your wheels turning, dude. Yeah. And it's impressive, man. Like there's not many. I guess that goes back to the point of, are you born with it or do you work at it? And I can see where that's both for you.
Yeah, like, I think it has to be kind of both in a sense. Yeah, you got to be born with one side and you got to develop the other side. And you got to develop them both. Yeah, but you got
to have the whole package, man.
Or here's another question: is there people who are born with both? Like, can somebody be born with who's inherently creative and also inherently like analytical and business minded at the same time?
I don't know if I've ever met anybody. I
don't know if I have either. Yeah.
No, I mean, I consider myself more of a creative person, but I have to surround myself with people that can get stuff done. Totally. Although I know that it needs to be done.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like I figured that out.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever met anybody that can really do both well, like to a certain extent. But that's an interesting question. That's like the psychological stuff that I want to know about. You know?
Yeah, totally. And another thing, here's another weird psychological thing, is that I always feel, for some reason, I don't know why this is, but because for the longest time I've always done so much of the work myself.
Okay.
Like we'll shoot it, I'll edit it, I'll do like even early on I was doing all the music and everything for all of our stuff, and like whenever somebody else does it, even if it's exactly precisely what I would do, when someone else does it, it always seems better to me. Why is that?
Yeah.
There's some like weird block in my brain where if I edit something, it always just seems kind of wonky to me. But if somebody else does it even exactly the way that I like, even on Millbrook, seeing the work, or sorry, even on
it's our place, film, Millbrook,
yeah, even this warehouse over here, you know, seeing the guys put those edits together, that wasn't me doing it, seeing them do it, it felt so much better to me. I'm like, oh yeah, this really works. Whereas even if I would have done the same thing, I'd still be questioning it.
Well, when Mark came back to you, it was like you were shocked to even see it. So I was like,
yeah, exactly.
Fuck. I can see that. It's kind of like preparing your own steak. Like when you cook your own meat, it always tastes funny, you know?
That's a perfect way to put it. Yeah.
It tastes funny, man. Like, but when somebody else cooks the steak, you're like, damn, this is good.
Right. And why is that? That's crazy.
It's just it's a psychological thing, man. I don't know. Maybe it's where self-doubt comes in.
Maybe so, which I've always had a healthy dose of, believe me.
You got some self-doubt?
Yeah.
See, I've got self-doubt like with the way I look and things like that, but like in terms of like business, I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
But then sometimes overconfident to where it could really, it'll fuck me up.
Yeah, and me too.
You know?
And a lot of it, like now I have a general confidence in like the work that I do.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, it was just compensating confidence. It was just kind of like because you have to, you're a director especially, like nobody's going to follow you. Nobody wants a leader who's going to be like, I don't know, what do you guys think? You know, what are we going to do now? Like, no, they want somebody who's going to come in and say, this is what we're going to do. It's going to be awesome. We're going to kill this shit. And here we go. Let's go do it.
I was shocked the first time I saw it, man.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and even there's times, there's going to be days where I'm not confident about being able to get it done, but you're never going to see that. You're never going to see a sliver.
I've never seen it.
Like, I'm going to go in and you're going to think like, fuck, this guy's got his shit together. Let's do it. Like, we can't go wrong, you know? Because that's what you want to inspire in people.
You're always confident going. Like, when I see you and you're behind the camera or directing or whatever, man, it's just like you exude confidence.
Yeah.
Exude, is that a word?
Yeah.
Exude? Okay,
I think so.
Okay,
right?
Well, whatever. I don't know.
Now you got me questioning.
Hell, I don't know.
You
make confidence. You create confidence.
Well, see, now it's genuine. But earlier on, like, it was not. But it had to be there to get the job done. To rally the people, you know? But now I genuinely go into pretty much everything knowing what's going to work and what's not going to work.
I mean, I don't think people understand what it's like to direct. Like, I myself could not do it. It wouldn't be I don't have the patience for it. Explain, like, to end the podcast, explain what it takes to be a director. Like, what do you think the key elements are in your personality, and like explain kind of like what directing is, because I don't think a lot of people understand what it means. They see director, they see producer. Kind of explain that a little bit to finish off this.
Yeah, so I think if I had to like just sum it up, it's like, you know, you have to have, it's three things. You have to have a very clear vision.
Okay.
Number two, you have to very effectively and efficiently communicate that vision to an entire crew of 40 to 150 other people. And then number three, you got to leverage what those 40 to 150 other people bring to the table to execute your vision or to elevate your vision. If they're really good at what they do, they're going to come in and take your vision and add to it and make it better. And so you're just, you know, you have to filter that out. You have to have that very, very clear vision of everything from start to finish, so that, you know, when people bring you ideas, you can filter like, that's not going to work. That's good, but it's not going to work because of this. Like, or that's great. That could make it better. Let's try that, you know? So it's about, it's a big picture thing. It's so a big picture thing. And it's weird because I'm so detail oriented.
Yeah, you are.
That it's hard. And I've been able to sort of force myself to step back and look at the big picture more, because that's more what the job is. And other people are there to focus on the details for you, and then you can adjust where necessary.
And I think that's what I couldn't do, is the detail oriented. Like, you're so damn detail oriented.
Yeah.
I mean, to the T or whatever they say. Like, it's like you are to that. Like, if somebody says their line just a little bit wrong, you're like, hey, say it like this.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. It amazes me.
Or if it's just a little bit fake. You know?
Little fake.
It's got to be 100% real, and no one's going to believe it when they're watching it, you know? And the best analogy I've heard is like, directing is like, you're painting a picture, but you're 100 yards away with a megaphone, and there's 100 people holding a brush, and you're yelling, No, just a little more red over there in the corner. No, not that shade of red, like a little more pink. Like, okay, no, then you turn, make that shape like this, that's what it is.
And then what is pink? Like some people's version of pink's different.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
I love it.
So it's all about like having the vision, communicating the vision, and then using other people, what they bring to serve the film the best. That's how I would sum up.
I think the painting thing's beautifully said, because that's like, I couldn't do that. Like I would rather just paint my own picture. Dude, you know what I mean? So
trust me, that's what I've had to break, because I'm so like hands-on and particular with things, like, but to make them. So, there's one more quote. Oh God, how does it go?
Who's it by?
It's like it's Werner Herzog or somebody like that, where it's like, if you're a songwriter, all you need is a guitar. If you're a painter, all you need is a canvas. If you're a director, all you need is an army, because to make a movie you can't do it alone. Yeah,
you need an army of artists. Yeah, exactly. Everything, man. That's crazy.
So there you
go.
Well,
dude, I appreciate you coming on again. This is the second podcast.
Yeah,
and I think, man, you should come on more, because it's just interesting to talk to.
I know. I enjoy this kind of stuff. This is cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm coming out of my shell in the social world.
It's like once a mic gets in front of you, dude, you just go crazy, dude. You're just like, man, bam, let's go. Yeah. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you listening, and make sure to subscribe on iTunes. Hit the like button on Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff, and share it with your friends. And we'll catch you later.
Yeah, check me out too on Instagram and all that.
Check out. Yeah, what is your
Raisin1123? So RayZN1123.
Yeah, and anything else? Anything else?
Facebook, same thing. Snapchat, same thing. Instagram, all that stuff. I have the same name across the board. So
okay, and then check out the Canadu, which is on iTunes.
Go on iTunes and Amazon and search the Canadu, CANADOO.
Yep.
Check our film out. It's everywhere. Everyone can see it now.
Dude, it's all over. Any English speaking country, it's there. Any Spanish speaking country, will be there in about 2 weeks. So.
See, Poppy.
Yes. See.